Part 21. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 201. Mrs. Ya's indifferent words made everyone stunned. Chen Luo was also suddenly stunned and asked, "Grandma." "Shut up, who is your grandma?" Mrs. Ya sneered. She stood up with a cane, and then said, "You are not from the Chen family now, do you still deserve to call me grandma?" Mrs. Ya had been watching for a long time, thinking that Secretary Luo and others appeared just to test her Xia family. But when I saw Chen Luo's tone after he called Chen Tiansheng, it didn't seem to be the case. But he really wanted to sever ties with Chen Luo. "Get out of here quickly, you can't stay here." Chen Luo's face was full of disbelief. Why did Mrs. Ya, who was so harmonious just now, suddenly seem to be a different person? "Mom." Chen Luo turned to Xia Wanting's mother, but was interrupted before he could speak. "Shut up. Who is your mother?" Xia Wanting's mother returned to her previous acrimonious look and sneered. "If you hadn't appeared, my daughter would have been with Zhu Ming now. You loser, are you still worthy of my daughter? Get away from my daughter now." Chen Luo was completely confused now. What was going on? He still doesn't understand that the Xia family is a snob, and he can back up anyone who has power. As for Xia Wanting, can she only be regarded as a tool? "Mom, Grandma, even if I am not Chen Tianzhen's son, I will definitely work hard for the Xia family." "Why are you doing this?" Chen Luo felt a little aggrieved. "What's the point of working hard? Even if you earn tens of thousands a month, it's nothing in front of my Xia family." Xia Wanting's mother looked disdainful. The other Xia family members were also confused when they saw this scene. Are our Xia family so snobbish? Okay, this farce ends here. Everyone has dispersed. Mrs. Xia looked around the audience and said solemnly. The people here are all members of her Xia family. And she is also the eldest and most prestigious in the Xia family. After hearing what she said, everyone stood up and left the banquet hall, no matter how confused they were. This Chen Luo is really weird. He actually severed ties with his father. That's right, you're a weird one. Even if you maintain your relationship with Chen Tiansheng and secretly keep Xia Wanting, wouldn't it still be the same? When Chen Tiansheng dies, he will marry whatever he wants. He is a fool. Let's go, let's stop talking. It's a waste of money. Today is in vain. First, he messed up the marriage with the Zhu family. I thought he could lead us to prosperity, but who knew he was a fool? Dozens of Xia family members left here sarcastically one by one. Soon, only Xia Wanting's family and Mrs. Xia were left in the huge banquet hall. Hearing that Xia Wanting was about to leave, Chen Luo, who was still in a daze, came to his senses instantly and grabbed her. "Wanting, you can't leave, you are mine." Suddenly, because of Chen Luo's appearance, he changed back to his original shape. Without Chen Luo's troubles, there will definitely be no problem returning to normal. Xia Wanting shrank her head when she heard this, not daring to disobey. She didn't even know what was going on. "This is better. Dad, what should we do now?" Xia Wanting asked with a confused look on her face. "With Chen Luo, then with Zhu Ming, then with Chen Luo again, and now with Zhu Ming. But in terms of reputation, he can be considered a bitch, right? How many goods should I make? Tomorrow I will use my connections to divorce you and Chen Luo. You can contact the Zhu family to see if you can win Zhu Ming back." "No, please, please don't leave." Chen Luo was about to cry. He finally got Xia Wanting back. Is he going to lose her again now? "Wanting, why are you still standing there stunned? Come down quickly and go home," Xia Wanting's father shouted to Xia Wanting, who was stunned on the stage. Several people looked at Chen Luo coldly. He was really a bad guy. Without much hesitation, Xia Wanting struggled to get rid of Chen Luo and followed her parents out of the banquet hall. Now Chen Luo is down. Let Zhu Ming and I continue to get married. Xia Wanting looked incredulous. Xia Wanting still has some beauty, and she is quite clean. Anyway, with Zhongji's promise, the Zhu family would choose to try again no matter what. I really don't know which is more important. It's best if you marry Zhu Ming, otherwise your family will continue to be ordinary members of the Xia family and continue to work for the Xia family company. Mrs. Xia snorted coldly, and then left with the help of others. Come and go, although no sex. What a disappointment. Then the Zhu family's crisis of collapse will be over. It's a little bit of a pity, otherwise if she had married Zhu Ming, their family would have been very happy now. Chen Luo pleaded in a pleading tone. It caused such a big embarrassment to the Xia family. The harmonious atmosphere just now suddenly changed. You can't give me happiness, I don't want to be with you anymore. Mrs. Xia stared at her with her old eyes and said sternly, get down, what can I do now? Originally, their family was not favored by the old lady, but after this incident, they may be even more ostracized. But if I don't leave, our family will be kicked out of the Xia family. Xia Wanting looked regretful. No matter how good the Zhu family is, it is still much better than the Xia family, and they also have the Zhong family as the backstage. As long as he appears, nothing good will happen. I just gave him so much good looks in vain. For my parents, I can only choose to leave. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 202. After saying this, Xia Wanting left decisively. In the empty banquet hall, only Chen Luo was left standing on the stage stupidly. Until they are long gone. Chen Luo just came back to his senses, and a feeling of despair and collapse suddenly surged into his heart. Chen Luo suddenly sat limply on the ground. He held his head and cried bitterly. Why is this happening, Wanting, why did you leave me? Chen Luo still can't understand, is money so important? Ever since I was born, I have never realized the importance of money. Instead, I find it very troublesome. Because as soon as he exposes the fact that he is rich, a bunch of hypocritical people will surround him. Please yourself, kneel and lick yourself crazily. He resents this kind of life because money cannot bring him friends. Money is not important at all, Grandma, why did you let Wanting leave me because of money? Chen Luo lay on the ground, tears and snot dripping down his face. Collapsed. Just because of money? Damn old man, it's all you. If it weren't for you, how could I never find true love? Chen Luo's eyes were distracted. I'm looking for mom, yes, looking for mom. Damn old man, if you don't want me, then my surname won't be Chen, I'll change my surname. After crying, Chen Luo got up from the ground and ran away. And in the Chen family. Chen Tiansheng was in the living room, looking at the hotel surveillance footage on the projector screen and the recorded audio. Chen Tiansheng's expression was very complicated and he felt chilled. This beast actually blames me for everything. I have raised him for more than 20 years, but in the end, he is no better than a woman, and is still a bitch. Just because of this beast is going to sever ties with himself. For your own good, I pretended to sever ties with you so that you can see the true face of this family. When you are good, you can throw all your sins on me. Chen Tiansheng gritted his teeth. He used to think that Chen Luo was only superficially confused. Let him see everything clearly so that he can understand that you are not as good a woman as you think. Thinking of this, Chen Tiansheng picked up his mobile phone from the sofa and dialed Chen Luo's mother's number. Hey, what's going on tonight? The call was quickly connected, and an impatient voice came. Chen Tiansheng said straight to the point, if Chen Luo comes to find you, just reject him and don't do him any favors. Chen Luo's mother, Su Lian, was immediately pleasantly surprised when she heard this, but quickly sneered, my son came to me, why should I refuse? Who do you think you are? Chen Tiansheng, don't forget, you and I are divorced now, and you, a person who can't lift, dare to order me. Chen Tianzhen's forehead veins were exposed, and he gritted his teeth and said, Su Lian, I tell you, just this time, don't help him. Although Su Lian's family was not as powerful as his wealth in the demon capital, it was still a powerful force, so he endured it most of the time. Including her cheating, he just chose to divorce her. Go away. My son is coming to find me. I am happy to help him. I am happy to help him. Can you take care of it? Su Lian yelled. It would be best for Luo to sever ties with you and live with me from now on. When Chen Tiansheng heard this, he was completely angry. This damn bitch. You stand up and speak to me. If you dare to help him this time, I will definitely make life difficult for your Su family. Su Lian shouted sternly, Chen Tiansheng, you have become more capable by riding a horse, right? Okay, I would like to see how capable you, Chen Tiansheng, are. Snapped. Su Lian smashed the phone directly. Chen Tianzhen's face turned pale when he heard the busy signal. Okay, okay. I want to see if this bitch finally recognizes me as his father. Chen Tiansheng was completely furious tonight. The most cowardly thing he has ever done in his life is that when he had an accident, his lower body became unresponsive. After the irritable wife found out, she was calm at first, but later she actually went to the club to look for a man. And there are quite a few of them. He was given a big hat, which made him extremely angry. However, because the group was at its peak development stage at that time, he had no choice but to reconcile and divorce her. Now, this matter is also regarded as a coward. Xia Wanting's home. Xia Wanting and her parents returned home from the hotel. As soon as they entered the house, Xia Wanting's father, Xiahao, just sat down and said, Daughter, you go to the hospital tomorrow to see Zhu Ming. Xia Wanting's mother echoed from the side, That's right, go see Zhu Ming and try to save him. After tonight, Zhu Ming probably won't be able to find many suitable women. It would be good for you to marry him. What a shame that Chen Luo was kicked out of the Chen family by Chen Tiansheng. Xia Wanting had a worried look on her face. Dad, Mom, if we go to Zhu Ming like this, will others gossip about us? What nonsense are you talking about? Do you want to be a small employee of the Xia family for the rest of your life? Our family is not taken seriously. Zhu Ming is your only way out. If you marry him, you will be the young mistress of the Zhu family. There will be no need to worry about life, Xia Wanting's mother said with hatred for iron. Xiahao nodded in agreement, Your mother is right. Dad has no future in this life and cannot be valued by your grandma, so I can only rely on Zhu Mingneng to give you happiness. When the time comes to visit the Zhong family, your mother and I will have to rely on you to support us. Although Xia Wanting was a little irritable, she still nodded, Okay, then I'll talk to Zhu Ming tomorrow. I'm doing this all for my parents, Chen Luo, I'm sorry. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 203. The next day. In Zhang Cheng's new villa. Zhang Cheng looked at the text message Chen Tiansheng sent him last night and couldn't help but smile. Beside him, Zhong Ji was still dreaming sweetly. Ever since Zhong Shujiao spoke to her, Zhong Ji has never been restricted again. I have been hanging out with Zhang Cheng for the past 2 days. Perhaps Zhong Shujiao has figured it out and feels that the best outcome is his daughter's happiness, so he has been running for her. Chen Tiansheng also listened to Zhang Cheng's words. He agreed to terminate the engagement with the Zhong family and further deepened his cooperation with the Zhong family. It can be regarded as an attempt to win over Zhang Cheng. After all, Tiancheng technology, a newly established 100 billion group in Shanghai, is Zhang Cheng's absolute holding company. As a qualified investor, Chen Tianchen naturally knows. As long as Zhang Cheng's company operates well, its wealth will definitely skyrocket in the future, even surpassing his. Are you awake so early? Just when Zhang Cheng was about to take out his arm that was held down by Zhongzhi and get out of bed to wash up, Zhongzhi also woke up and said drowsily. Zhang Cheng kissed her and chuckled, "Well, I have some things to do today, so I can't stay with you for a while. You and I will go see your dad tomorrow." Hearing these words, Zhongzhi instantly became energetic and hugged him. "Are you going to marry me?" Then seeing Zhang Cheng's smiling but silent expression, Zhongzhi was a little disappointed. "It seems not. Then why do you want to see my dad?" Now that there is no pressure from the Chen family, Zhongzhi is also looking forward to Zhang Cheng marrying her. Zhang Cheng touched her slender and soft waist and said softly, "Of course I am cooperating with you. Didn't you take over a technology company? I'm here to give you benefits, as a betrothal gift." Zhang Cheng would naturally not be stingy with his woman. Zhongzhi also owned a technology company, and he was fully capable of supporting her as well. "How could my own woman be the canary in prison? You must be the best elite." "Oh well." After comforting Zhongzhi, Zhang Cheng got up, washed up, and then drove out of the villa area. Now in Demon City, his layout is almost complete. As the cornerstone of his plan to enter the world, the layout of Demon City must have taken a lot of thought. As for the Son of Luck, after Chen Tiansheng sent him a text message and informed him of the result, he didn't need to worry about anything anymore. Chen Luo's defeat is certain. In the next hour, Zhang Cheng also took a look at the company's recent operations and found no major problems. The later golden finger, the ring finger, was also destroyed by myself. When he arrived at the company, relying on his identity, Zhang Cheng walked directly to the president's office. A building located in a science and technology industrial park. The entire building is owned by Chen Yingxiu's company. And in many policies, they have achieved maximum profits for the company. So he left. No comeback. Successfully surpassed the Zhong family's assets. In order to let his parents and the Xia family live a good life, he must obtain Zhu Ming's forgiveness. Xia Wanting nodded, took a deep breath, stretched out her delicate hands, pushed open the ward door, and walked in. Zhang Cheng came all the way to Chen Yingxiu's company. "Yes, I understand," Mo Rongpeng responded. It can be said that he completely restrained Chen Luo to the urban plot, and the layout of the urban plot has been completed. After receiving permission, Zhang Cheng smiled slightly and followed the front desk into the elevator. And in Yeadu No. 1 hospital. Zhongzhi is also in the most powerful son-in-law. She is the female president of a large technology group. She handed over Zhong Shujiao to one of her technology companies and built a technology business group worth tens of billions. Xia Wanting and Xia Hao came outside Zhu Ming's VIP ward. In the later period, Chen Yingxiu also reconciled with Chen Luo and became a real sibling. We have also acquired 2 large-scale factories and have begun to build production lines. There are so many female CEOs in the Demon City who are interested in technology. Zhang Cheng couldn't help but sigh. Zhang Cheng nodded and said, "You are all busy with your own business. Well, my production lines will also be transported and assembled during this period. Then a batch of official products will be produced." Zhang Cheng took a sip of the coffee brought in by his secretary and said with a smile, "This is my last chance. There is still Chen Yingxiu left. As long as we capture her, Chen Luo will have no way out." Zhang Cheng thought about it in his mind and suddenly smiled. Xia Hao warned in a low voice, "Speak carefully after you go in for a while, you know." She didn't reveal her identity as Chen Tianzhen's eldest daughter, and she did it all by her own strength. Chen Yingxiu is also a self-made technology and business giant. In 2 days, Mo Rongpeng had already negotiated an official order worth tens of billions of profits for himself. Amo Rongpeng took out the report and reported to Zhang Qinjui, Mr. Zhang, during this period, according to your instructions, we have loaned tens of billions of funds from the bank. Now it only takes a few more games before Chen Luo's luck value will be completely stripped away. After Zhang Cheng revealed his identity, the front desk immediately called Chen Yingxiu's secretary. Early in the morning, Amo Rongpeng and Tang Hobo were discussing things in the office. Mr. Zhang, seeing Zhang Cheng come in, the two of them stood up quickly and said hello to Zhang Cheng. Everything is given priority to the officialdom, and the people in the official circles are dealt with first, and then to the public. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 204. In the ward, Zhu Ming's face was wrapped in gauze. The face that seemed handsome at first now looked miserable. When he saw Xia Wanting and her daughter coming in, a cold light suddenly flashed in his eyes, and he said in a cold voice, "Why are you still here? Want to see my joke?" The reason why he is where he is today is entirely because of the woman Xia Wanting. At first he wanted to marry her and thought she was good. But last night he realized that this woman was just a loser and would fall for whoever was stronger. Because of what Chen Luo said last night. Now the entire Zhu family is in a mess, and everything that needs to be dealt with is being dealt with. But there is good news, that is, those who targeted their company suddenly stopped targeting them. Now, he just wants to rest in peace and recuperate, and doesn't want to see this woman. Master Zhu, I'll bring Wanting over to apologize to you, Shenhao said with a smile on his face. His status is not high, so he has to call Zhu Ming when he sees him. Humph, apologize. I can't bear it, Zhu Ming sneered. Now he came over to apologize to me? Do you really think you are an idiot? We listened to that coward Chen Luo's words last night and almost made an irreversible mistake. Don't worry, our Xia family has completely broken up with Chen Luo, Shenhao said quickly. Zhu Ming was a little surprised and asked, Chen Luo is from the richest family of Chen. Do you, the Xia family, have the courage? He didn't believe it. With the character of people like the Xia family, how could he believe his lies? Shenhao said, Master Zhu, we really apologize sincerely. Next, let Wanting talk to you properly, and I will withdraw first. After saying that, Shenhao glanced at Xia Wanting before leaving. After he left, Zhu Ming looked at Xia Wanting standing aside and asked, what's going on? After he was beaten unconscious last night, he couldn't remember what happened next. He only knew that his father took him to the hospital and left without saying anything. Xia Wanting whispered, Chen Luo was severed from father and son by the richest man Chen in public. Then, Xia Wanting told him what happened last night. After last night, she couldn't say anything at all and could only passively accept the Xia family's arrangements. Including the scene where Chen Luo and the richest man broke off their relationship, she told everything truthfully. After Zhu Ming heard this, his face was filled with shock. Chen Luo. Are you a fool? There is such a rich father, but he still dares to openly disobey his orders and say stupid things like severing ties. Just for this woman? He couldn't figure it out. Are you saying that your Xia family has now severed ties with Chen Luo, and your grandma used her connections to cancel your marriage certificate with him? Zhu Ming couldn't help but ask. But in the play, Chen Luo resumed his status as the son of the richest man 2 weeks later. Zhu Ming sneered, who do you think I am? Your Xia family just wants to get back together if they say they want to get back together. Because she knew that her innocence was the bottom line, and it was the key to whether she could find a suitable man after she and Chen Luo divorced. He couldn't help but want to mock her. And Chen Luo is no longer a member of the Chen family and is a pauper. Only then did he fall deeply in love with Chen Luo. But there was no dedication either. You mean you are divorced now? When Xia Wanting heard this, she immediately became anxious. Ming, I want to be with you, you. She is a white lotus at heart. Only by saving Zhu Ming and marrying him can he ensure that his future life is secure. So according to what my parents said. Zhu Ming's eyes flickered, and he vaguely guessed the reason why the Xia family asked her to come here to find him. The pain on his face did not allow him to forgive the Xia family just like that. If you want to get married, you can only find some ordinary families or even some divorced successful men. Yes, they continued to maintain the agreement at that time and the two got married. According to the description in the novel, she is just a simple girl. In the original work, Xia Wanting always had some ambiguous relationships with other men except at the beginning when Chen Luo had not yet revealed her identity. Xia Wanting nodded and replied in a faint voice, yes. And by threatening Chen Tiansheng, he obtained the qualification to marry Xia Wanting. Xia Wanting's family still didn't believe it at that time. However, now Zhu Ming is a little resistant. According to a normal person's point of view, this kind of person is just a villain who likes to follow the crowd, pretending to be innocent. Ming, I came here this time to apologize to you. Think he is acting. Please get back together. After Zhu Ming listened, the expression on his face was very wonderful. At first, they were flirting with each other, and then Chen Luo came and revealed his identity. When he was beating him, this woman stood aside without even farting. In the end, Chen Luo gave him money and provided various proofs. It was not until later that Xia Wanting reluctantly believed him. Grandma and parents asked themselves to ask Zhu Ming for forgiveness and get back together, because in this way, the Xia family could continue to cooperate with the Zhu family and be close to the Zhong family. Is there something wrong with this woman's brain? Although he is clean, he also has a divorce record. It can be said that apart from Zhu Ming, he can no longer find anyone to rely on. Now I am a completely divorced woman. She thought he was a good man who endured so much hardship for her and moved her for more than 500 chapters before she had her first relationship with Chen Luo. Okay, I accept your apology, you can go. Zhu Ming thought for a while and nodded lightly. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 205. Zhu Ming wasn't stupid either. After hearing what Xia Wanting said, he could guess what the Xia family was thinking. Haha, it's quite a beautiful thought. You go, I have nothing to say to your Xia family. Zhu Ming waved his hand coldly, not wanting to see her. Xia Wanting almost cried. Why is this so different from what I thought when I came here? Doesn't Zhu Ming like himself very much? He should be very happy to come to him himself. Why should you drive yourself away? Ming, please don't be like this, can we be together? Xia Wanting came to the bedside, grabbed Zhu Ming's hand, and kept pleading. I don't want to be a divorced woman. I am still young, and only people like Zhu Ming are worthy of me. Zhu Ming pulled out his hand with slight disgust and said calmly, please get out, don't make me angry. Xia Wanting was startled, and then said, Ming, don't you think about the Zhu family? Although no one is targeting your Zhu family now, your family still suffered a huge loss. Now only if we are together, and then go to see Miss Zhongji and win the favor of the Zhong family, can our family be restored to full strength. Xia Wanting also grasped the key points. I have to say that as soon as the sentence came out, Zhu Ming was really stunned. After thinking about it for a while, he found that as Xia Wanting said, his family was suffering huge losses now. From last night to this morning, more than 200 million yuan was lost. The Zhu family's net worth has been cut by a quarter. You are right, Zhu Ming said calmly. Xia Wanting felt happy, it seemed that Ming still couldn't let go. Yes, as long as we reconcile as before. Xia Wanting wanted to continue to brainwash him, but was interrupted by him raising his hand. So, even if this is the case, I can't reconcile with you so easily. Zhu Ming thought for a while and suddenly laughed. Seeing his smile getting weirder, Xia Wanting had a bad feeling in her heart. Before she could say anything, she felt her hand being held by Zhu Ming and slowly placed on that place. Xia Wanting's expression changed drastically. She has never done such a thing, but now Zhu Ming actually wants to be here by herself? Although she is not too young, this is the first time she feels like this. The touch that came back through the quilt made her a little panicked. Just as she was about to make a sound, Zhu Ming stopped her. Don't scream. Since we want to reconcile as before, let's do what we should do. Zhu Ming stretched out his other hand and gently caressed Xia Wanting's face. Zhu Ming smiled, I'm not asking you to come with me here now, but with your hands. Because of this woman, I was beaten so hard by that bitch Chen Luo that my teeth were broken. I couldn't let this woman go so easily. Since Chen Luo doesn't love her deeply, doesn't he? Then I will do it for Chen Luo, what you have not done before. Let's start with step 1. Xia Wanting's face changed color in shock. Of course she knew what this meant. However, I have never done such a thing, so at this moment I let myself. She couldn't accept it. He wanted to pull his hand away, but Zhu Ming held it tightly. Zhu Ming smiled grimly and said, since your Xia family has chosen to ask for my forgiveness, then don't resist, okay? Sooner or later we will become husband and wife, why can't you do even this little thing for me? Don't forget, my face is still like this because of you. If you want to continue to cooperate with my Zhu family, then just listen to me. When it came to the end, Zhu Ming's tone became a little sick. He is full of hatred for Chen Luo now, but he can't do anything to him. Therefore, he could only vent his emotions on this. Your most beloved woman, Chen Luo, is asking for my forgiveness in front of me right now, and she will have to pay the price no matter what. The woman you Chen Luo wants to obey is the woman you haven't touched in the past 3 years. I kissed and hugged you first. Now I want her to. Thinking of this, Zhu Ming felt a little happy, as if he saw Chen Luo's furious look. Xia Wanting looked at Zhu Ming's daydreaming look. He immediately bit his lip. Chen Luo's character is much better than Zhu Ming's, and he is also kind to himself. But now that he has no identity, what's the use of being nice to him? I just want to live a good life and let my parents live a good life. Am I wrong? Xia Wanting felt that she was right. The girls in those clubs all choose to sell their bodies and contact all kinds of people in order to live a good life. I only need to marry Zhu Ming and then I can live a life of a wealthy family. Isn't that good? She doesn't think her behavior is wrong. I'm not wrong. This is all for the sake of the family and to be able to live a good life. I don't want to be an ordinary employee. Zhu Ming has recovered and is very handsome. I won't suffer any loss. We are going to be husband and wife anyway. When will we come, it's all the same. Xia Wanting comforted herself secretly in her heart. Convince yourself that this is what you need to do. What are you waiting for? Let's get started. No one will come in this VIP ward if I don't shout. Zhu Ming smiled at her. Oh, I see, how do you do it? Xia Wanting didn't dare to disobey, so she could only look elsewhere and use her hands as much as possible. Zhu Ming felt her movements and frowned. Be gentle, there is paper next to you. Well, that's enough strength. You will be discharged from hospital tonight. Come find me here in my villa. For a time, a strange atmosphere filled the entire ward. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 206. Chen Yingxiu Company. Zhang Cheng followed the receptionist's lead and walked through the office area to Chen Yingxiu's CEO office. The front desk knocked on the office door, then opened the door and invited Zhang Cheng in. Wait until the front desk clerk closes the door and leaves. In the office, Chen Yingxiu raised her head, a smile appeared on her perfect oval face, her charming eyes blinked twice, and she smiled softly. Mr. Zhang? Why do you want to come to me? Zhang Cheng's identity had been reported to the front desk before, so Chen Yingxiu was also a little confused as to why Zhang Cheng came to see her. Hers is a technology company, and it shouldn't have anything to do with Zhangcheng, the magic city, right? Zhang Cheng came to sit in front of her and said with a smile, "Come to discuss business with Mr. Chen." Of course he came here for a purpose. Chen Yingxiu's appearance is indeed perfect, but it is a pity that she is the sister of the protagonist Chen Luo and will not be arranged to get married until she dies. Chen Yingxiu smiled even more, put down her work, and couldn't help but said, "Oh, I wonder what big business Mr. Zhang wants to discuss with me. If you want to talk about business, then I'm interested." She is very interested in business and has a very talented mind, otherwise she would not have built a tens of billions company from scratch. "Mr. Chen, can you first introduce your company's main business?" Zhang Cheng put his hands on the desk, with an extremely charming smile on his face that was irresistible to countless girls. For a moment, Chen Yingxiu was also fascinated by it. But she recovered quickly. After all, she is a strong woman who has seen strong winds and waves. "Mr. Zhang doesn't even know my company's business, so he comes to me to discuss business. It seems a bit hasty." Chen Yingxiu smiled and then began to introduce him. "My company is mainly engaged in animation app and advertising business, as well as cultivating comic studios and developing novel copyrights. There are also the latest e-commerce series, expanded peripherals, and a new hardware R&D department." Her company actually started with online comics. After the app became popular, it began to expand into other businesses, and now it has also begun to expand into hardware research and development. At the beginning, it was just a small platform with no resources and no connections. It took off only after it grabbed an itch. Now the entire company has a market value of more than 27 billion dragon coins, and it is also a large enterprise. In fact, in Longguo, many people just make an app and call themselves technology companies. In fact, they can only be called internet companies. But in order to get more investment, it changed its name to a technology company. The above is the situation of my company. After Chen Yingxiu introduced it, she took a sip of coffee and said with a smile, "I wonder what kind of business Mr. Zhang wants to discuss with me. Use your authors and comic studio to help my company promote a holographic comic and a series of animations. The price is easy to discuss." Zhang Cheng tapped his fingers on the table and said with a smile. His plan is to use these resources to promote his holographic equipment. Because now only through the internet can we open a company's situation faster. Chen Yingxiu raised her brows, and her interest suddenly dimmed. "Is it just this matter? Mr. Zhang can let his subordinates talk about it, and he doesn't need to come to see me in person, right?" She thought Zhang Cheng wanted to expand some kind of cooperation with her, but this was the result. "For a project with an investment of 3 billion, I think we should talk to Mr. Chen in person, right?" Zhang Cheng replied. 3 billion? Just novels, comics, and animations? Chen Yingxiu was surprised. 3 billion is a huge sum of money, and it can only be used for these? Of course not. If possible, the novel would be best adapted into a movie, a science fiction movie about holographic devices. Zhang Cheng shook his head. His plan is more than just that. Only after making movies and animations can there be a sense of science fiction about holography, so that the public can expect holographic equipment and be shocked by black technology. Chen Yingxiu pondered for a while, and then said, "If it needs to be realistic, 3 billion may be a bit reluctant." "Money is not a problem," Zhang Cheng said proudly. "Okay, I'll let someone make arrangements." Chen Yingxiu nodded and responded. Zhang Cheng struck while the iron was hot and continued, "Actually, there is another project that I would like to discuss with Mr. Chen." "Oh? What is it?" "I invested 5 billion to purchase the shares of Chen Corporation. Chen Yingxiu didn't even think about it and refused directly, impossible. Zhang Cheng said with a slight regret, then forget it. Chen Yingxiu was stunned. Are you just talking about it? Chen Yingxiu thought Zhang Cheng would be very determined. Is this the result? Zhang Cheng actually never thought about taking her shares, he just talked about it. Chen Yingxiu's mother passed away when she was born. Chen Tiansheng married Chen Luo's mother Su Lian not long after her mother passed away. For as long as she can remember, Chen Yingxiu has been beaten and scolded by Su Lian frequently. Chen Tiansheng ignored her and only occasionally stopped her when she went too far. Therefore, in Chen Yingxiu's heart, Chen Tiansheng is not a qualified father. But she also longed for her father's love, but she was not satisfied. Chen Tiansheng cared more about the so-called younger brother. Therefore, after she became an adult, Chen Yingxiu chose to leave the Chen family and go out on her own. So many years of depression. Chen Yingxiu lacked something in her heart. Fatherly love. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 207. Zhang Cheng looked at Chen Yingxiu's strange eyes and grinned. Actually, there is a very important cooperation project. Sensing Chen Yingxiu's impatience, Zhang Cheng had no intention of teasing her anymore. Chen Yingxiu withdrew her gaze and asked, Mr. Zhang, please speak. Mr. Chen should understand that the company I am currently in Yeadu is the new holographic technology company, right? Chen Yingxiu nodded, and then said, but what does this have to do with me? Mr. Jiang's is a holographic projection, and mine is just a comic company. It doesn't seem to be related to each other, right? I am an animation person, and he is a black technology person, they are completely different from each other. Zhang Cheng shook his head and said seriously, no, it has a big relationship. My holographic projection can completely cover reality. I design a location, and then use my holographic imager to completely cover the surrounding real appearance, replacing it with my holographic projection scene. At this point, a lot of things can be done. What everyone sees now is the most basic equipment of our company, which is only the entertainment part. But what if our company develops a first-person viewing mode later? It can not only put the protagonist in one's own place, but also watch the movie from a third-person perspective. Can this viewing mode turn the traditional film industry upside down? Hearing this, Chen Yingxiu suddenly froze. Yes, holograms are not just projections. You mean, it can be branched into the animation industry? Chen Yingxiu asked quickly. Zhang Cheng smiled and nodded, of course. When your animation software is connected to my holographic projection as an open source, you can use operable holographic projection to create a science fiction level viewing experience. Even to animation, games, and other simulation scenes. Do you still think this holographic projection has nothing to do with you? For another example, my holographic projection only supports holographic display of Mr. Chen's animations. At this point, Zhang Cheng gave her a meaningful look. Chen Yingxiu was excited, this is a big cake. Will the price of the holographic imager be very expensive? If there are few people, the effect will still not be achieved. Furthermore, even if we succeed, what if other companies sue us for industry monopoly? Chen Yingxiu also analyzed the pros and cons and raised a series of questions. No, Zhang Cheng waved his hand and affirmed, equipments at civilian prices are not expensive and can be purchased for the price of a mobile phone. In addition to producing unimportant civilian products, our company also produces higher-level official products. It can be used in many places. So, we have already negotiated the conditions. In some unimportant aspects, the Dragon Kingdom officials will turn a blind eye to our behavior. This is the influence of leading technology. Have the capital to negotiate terms with the country. Chen Yingxiu was a little touched. She didn't expect that there was such a deep secret behind Zhang Cheng's technology. He was able to discuss cooperation with Dragon Kingdom officials, and even ask Dragon Kingdom officials to guarantee something for him. This kind of achievement is not something that an ordinary entrepreneur can achieve. Like some current internet companies, they actually rely on money and connections, and they control a lot of software that is inconvenient to ban, such as instant messaging. He will act recklessly in many ways, and as long as it is not too serious, Longuo will not care about it. However, once they have ideas about Western capital, such as monopoly, Longuo will not hesitate to stop them. This is also its bottom line. I'm very excited about Mr. Jiang's project. Chen Yingxiu took a sip of coffee and calmed down. She couldn't find any reason to refuse this cooperation. If in-depth cooperation is really carried out, the market value of your company will definitely skyrocket. In the future, it will not be a problem to surge to an unprecedented level. Having a heartbeat is worse than taking action. If Mr. Chen is interested, how about coming to our Tiancheng Technology celebration party tonight? Zhang Cheng suddenly sent out an invitation. This caught Chen Yingxiu off guard. She didn't expect that she would be invited to Zhang Cheng's company's celebration party. This seems inconvenient, right? After all, it is a celebration within Jiang's company. I am going there as an outsider, so I'm afraid something might be wrong. Chen Yingxiu shook her head slowly, a glimmer of light flashing in her beautiful eyes. Zhang Cheng said indifferently, "What's so inconvenient about this? If Mr. Chen wants to cooperate, sign the contract and our two companies can form a strategic alliance now. The kind that advances and retreats together." Buzz. Hearing these words, Chen Yingxiu's mind suddenly went blank. Momentarily confused. What the hell? Did I hear that correctly? A company worth hundreds of billions wants to form a strategic alliance with a small company like me? Still the kind of advancing and retreating together. This is a bit dreamy. Chen Yingxiu couldn't figure out what Zhang Cheng was worried about. He must be the one who suffers the most from entering into such an alliance with his own comic company. Well, I don't understand. Mr. Jiang's series of arrangements seem to be beneficial to my company. I don't understand what value my company has that makes it worthy of you doing this. Chen Yingxiu's beautiful eyes flickered, the soft voice was full of confusion. At best, his company is supported by market value. The real content, that is, the field of comics, is not worth his investment at all, right? What's the point of him doing this? Zhang Cheng took a sip of the green tea brought in by his secretary and smiled mysteriously. You want to know? Come to the celebration tonight and bring the strategic contract. You will know after signing it. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 208. Chen Yingxiu had 3 question marks floating around at that time. No, why are you so persistent in asking me to attend the celebration party? What does this have to do with you giving me benefits? In her eyes, Zhang Cheng's coquettish actions were just to bring benefits to herself. Because this series of investments and promises does no harm to your company at all. If it succeeds, your company will definitely undergo transformation within a period of time. Like other technology companies, its market value has suddenly changed and it has become a large enterprise worth hundreds of billions. There are only a few billion-dollar companies in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Why is it so easy to achieve here in Zhangcheng? After listening to what he said, she could imagine how high her company's market value would soar. Just announcing a strategic alliance with Tiancheng Technology is enough to shock the stock market. Chen Yingxiu was sure that as long as she announced a strategic alliance with Tiancheng Technology, the market value would continue to soar the next day. There is no doubt about it. Zhang Cheng always maintained an indifferent smile. After hearing so much, Chen Yingxiu said that if she said she was not moved, it would be a lie. After pondering for a while, Chen Yingxiu nodded and said, "Okay, when will it be tonight?" When it comes to big business, she is not sleepy. then he will definitely choose to go. Hearing this, Zhang Cheng smiled brightly. 8 o'clock tonight, Bishui Blue Sky Hotel. First step, achieved. Since everything has been settled, I will leave first and prepare for tonight's celebration party. After talking about this, Zhang Cheng stood up and left. Okay, Chen Yingxiu did not get up to see her off, but sat in the office in a daze. What was his plan? The more I think about it, the more confused I become. In the end, Chen Yingxiu simply didn't think so much and continued working. After coming out of Chen Yingxiu's company, Zhang Cheng came to the parking lot, got in his car and left. Rongpeng, at 8 o'clock tonight, there will be a celebration party at the Bishui Blue Sky Hotel. All the staff are calling. Zhang Cheng called Mo Rongpeng. Now Tiancheng Technology actually doesn't have many employees, only about 100 people. Therefore, it does not require much funds to hold a celebration party. And it was a temporary decision, so he also contacted a hotel with the best quality. After discussing with the hotel, we spent 4 million. Then I was busy again and again, traveling to many places. Until 8 p.m. Outside Zhu Ming's villa, there was a woman in cool clothes, holding a Chanel bag in her hand, dressed exquisitely. Standing at the door, Xia Wanting summoned up the courage and pressed the doorbell. Long live Tiancheng. Why do you want to invest so much in my place? Is it worth it? Chen Yingxiu stared at him with her beautiful eyes unblinking. Employees' thinking is very simple. If the treatment is good and the benefits are high, they will work hard. Zhang Cheng also understood their thoughts, so he held a celebration party to appease these old employees when the company was not particularly busy and there were many people. No matter how much you say, it has nothing to do with them. Only when they get real money can they be excited. Chen Yingxiu nodded undeniably, then smiled and said, "Can Mr. Zhang tell me now? With such a boss, if you work hard with him for a few years, you will definitely be able to buy a house in the Demon City." She seemed to want to hear what his answer would be. Isn't that right? Now every department has received a 20% salary increase, and the salary is almost on par with those of super companies. At 8:30, as the president and vice president of the company, Mo Rongpeng came to the stage, took the microphone and announced. "Step out and put your arms around her body. Today, at the request of our major shareholders, we specially held this celebration to celebrate our Tiancheng technology. In terms of price-to-earnings ratio, although there are no specific figures yet. Elsewhere, in the huge banquet hall of the Demon City Bishui Blue Sky Hotel. Zhang Cheng knew it and asked, "What did I tell you?" The door closes. Upon hearing Mo Rongpeng's words, more than 100 employees present immediately cheered. Zhang Cheng put down the champagne glass, approached her, and showed a gentle and doting smile. "So, to motivate everyone in advance, everyone will receive a bonus of 66,600 dragon coins at today's celebration party." Then, a sentence that stunned Chen Yingxiu came out of Zhang Cheng's mouth. Boom. When new employees come in, they don't need to promote it themselves. The old employees will brainwash the new employees themselves. Be good, call me BABA. In the audience, Chen Yingxiu, who was wearing a white strapless mermaid evening dress, looked at the lively atmosphere, looked at Zhang Cheng, and said with a smile, "Mr. Zhang, your Tiancheng technology is really generous." In the banquet hall, the employees of Tiancheng Technology held wine glasses in their hands and communicated with each other. But according to the data given by the professional evaluation team in the technology industry, our Tiancheng Technology, as the world's first holographic technology company, our revenue will reach a terrifying figure in the next year. The old employees of Tiancheng Technology gathered together and praised each other non-stop. The hotel started decorating it in the afternoon. Although it was a temporary arrangement, it was still very solemn. However, she does not doubt Tiancheng Technology's ability to attract money in the future. Its annual revenue will definitely exceed 200 billion. The door opened, and Zhu Ming, who was still applying ointment near his mouth, opened the door. After seeing Xia Wanting's dress, he couldn't help laughing wildly. Zhang Cheng changed into his long-lost suit, drank champagne, and said with a smile, "After all, it is a new company. We must put some effort into the welfare of old employees. The boss is really nice." Everyone got 2 days off and there was a celebration party. This is what happened before official profits started. Because this is Father's love for you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 209. Chen Yingxiu was in a state of confusion at this moment. Did Zhang Cheng have a brain convulsion? Say this to yourself. Suitable. Chen Yingxiu calmed down, her beautiful eyes instantly turned cold, and she said in a cold voice, "Zhang Cheng, do you think I'm easy to bully? Dare to humiliate me with words? Don't think that because you own a company worth hundreds of billions, I can't do anything to you. I'm not a woman without a background, I just haven't wanted to use this background." If he irritates himself and talks to Chen Tiansheng, Zhang Cheng will find it difficult to move forward in the Demon City. He really thinks that a company with a valuation of 100 billion can surpass him. In the business circle of Demon City, the Chen family has the final say. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly, took a sip of champagne, and said in a gentle tone, "No, I just want to give you love. It has not been easy since you were a child. I feel sorry for you knowing your life experience." Chen Yingxiu's face became colder and colder, and her gaze towards Zhang Cheng no longer contained any emotion. As long as Zhang Cheng dared to say another word, she would dare to throw the wine in the glass on his face. When she was a child, her life was unsatisfactory, but when she grew up, Chen Yingxiu also learned to disguise herself so that she would not be bullied. Weakness is not on her surface, her real weakness is in her heart. But that doesn't mean she doesn't dare to do anything to Zhang Cheng. Including when she grew up, during her rebellious adolescence, she dared to go against Chen Luo's mother Su Lian. At that time, as long as Su Lian got angry with her, Chen Yingxiu would dare to throw things at her feet. Teach her how to respect herself. Even when Chen Luo wanted to stand up for Su Lian, Chen Yingxiu kicked her away. This was the purpose of a weak woman learning karate and judo. Despite her excellent figure, she looks extremely weak. But in fact, Chen Yingxiu is also a black belt in karate and 7th Dan judo. For a person like Chen Luo, who had a body that had never done any exercise, he was whipped by her a lot during his adolescence. Even Chen Tiansheng couldn't say anything. Although he favored boys over girls, Chen Yingxiu's mother was his first woman after all. He turned a blind eye to these things. Over time, Chen Yingxiu's status in the family also improved. Except for Su Lian at that time, she would make sarcastic remarks from time to time. "Since no one loves you, let me love you." As soon as Zhang Cheng finished speaking, Chen Yingxiu poured the red wine in her hand. Zhang Cheng dodged easily. He quickly stepped aside, sat down at Chen Yingxiu's seat, and hugged her. His physique has long been different from ordinary people. Even if he doesn't turn on the thug in a suit, he is not something that an ordinary person or even Lian Jiazi can deal with. This sudden scene did not attract anyone's attention. At this moment, all employees were attracted by the speeches of Mo Rongpeng and Tang Hobo on the stage. Chen Yingxiu was hugged by Zhang Cheng. She was about to use her strength to shake him away, but she didn't expect Zhang Cheng's strength to be so strong. "What do you want to do?" Seeing that she couldn't get away, Chen Yingxiu could only say coldly. Zhang Cheng gently patted her shoulder and said softly, "I told you, I'll give you my love." Chen Yingxiu's expression kept changing. Is Zhang Cheng sick? If you continue like this, you'll be calling people out on your own. Now she just felt that Zhang Cheng must be sick, otherwise why would he keep hugging her and not let go? He kept saying love to himself. I fucking need your love? Chen Yingxiu wanted to spit on his face, but after thinking about it, this pervert would do even more perverted things, so she resisted the urge to spit on him. Follow me. As she was thinking, she suddenly heard Zhang Cheng whispering softly in her ear. Chen Yingxiu hesitated for a moment, then stood up and followed Zhang Cheng's footsteps to the floor-to-ceiling window at the corner. Outside the window, there is the river of the Demon City. Through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows, you can perfectly see the night view on the other side of the river, with neon lights lighting up the sky. Zhang Cheng took out a contract from a table and handed it to her. Then he turned around and picked up a bottle of champagne from the champagne bucket filled with ice cubes on the table, opened the cap, and poured the wine. Chen Yingxiu took the contract in confusion and read it carefully. Zhang Cheng returned with the champagne and said calmly, I will give you what you don't have, and I will compensate you for what you long to have. In this world full of infinite possibilities, everything that is unthinkable will become reasonable. I was not involved in your past, so I won't say more. Speaking of this, Zhang Cheng suddenly paused. Chen Yingxiu raised her head, a little confused and puzzled, because the first line of the contract shocked her. But when she raised her head and touched Zhang Cheng's face, her whole body froze. Handsome and gentle. A face that is so perfect that there is no flaw, and full of affection. Those deep eyes were as bright as stars. Just one look at them made people unable to extricate themselves, and deeply attracted her gaze. Zhang Cheng showed an extremely gentle smile that no girl could resist. It has been very painful for a person to hold on all these years. I just want to bring you what you have longed for, not to do anything. On days when there is no sense of security, a girl is very lonely late at night. Even if the pillow is wet with tears, you must look like a strong woman the next day to face the unknown tomorrow. I just want to give you a future full of security. I want to give you my shoulder to rely on so that you no longer have to worry about anything. So, this 21% share of Tiancheng technology is the best confession gift I can give you. Are you satisfied? Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 210. Zhang Cheng's words penetrated into Chen Yingxiu's ears without missing a word. Chen Yingxiu stood stunned on the spot. Have no idea what this is all about. It was as if he had no privacy in front of Zhang Cheng, and he knew everything. Including what happened when he was a child, he actually knew about it. Is he, the devil? I still don't understand what you mean this time. Chen Yingxiu was not impatient at all, only confused after her little secret was revealed. What do these words you said have to do with you asking me to call you dad before? Okay. Chen Yingxiu grabbed the key point and asked. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly, put down the cup in his hand, held Chen Yingxiu's face with both hands, and kissed her directly. The sudden move made Chen Yingxiu's mind go blank for a moment. What is this for? Zhang Cheng left her gentle red lips, licked the fragrance on her lips, and said dotingly, so, the first step for me to love you is to give you a father's love. A pair of big hands rubbed her hair, making Chen Yingxiu a little at a loss. I want to resist, but I don't want to separate this strange love. Zhang Cheng understood her thoughts very well. This woman was actually strong on the outside but very weak on the inside. There was so much missing from her childhood. Seizing this, Zhang Cheng could easily control her. This is also a woman's fatal weakness. In fact, every woman has her weaknesses, but you can't catch them because they are too good at disguising themselves. Otherwise, those scumbag men would treat them like that, but those women would never be able to leave him. That's why. The scumbag captured her heart. The same is true for men. If a woman understands herself, a man will be especially kind to her no matter what. This is also the reason why scumbag girls have many exes, and even after they break up, their exes will help her. Everyone has their own weaknesses. Chen Yingxiu's dull eyes gradually became shiny, and a tear that had been thrown away for an unknown period of time suddenly reappeared at this moment. The emotions that have been suppressed for many years are gradually released in my heart. When she saw Zhang Cheng again, Chen Yingxiu actually felt that he was not so annoying anymore. At least, he really paid. Just the 21% of Tiancheng Technology shares is enough to explain his intentions. But this does not mean that Chen Yingxiu will open her heart to him immediately. Ding. The most powerful son-in-law and daughter-in-law of a wealthy family, Chen Yingxiu's favorability add 70. Villain value add 2000. The system's beep sounded in his mind, and the smile on Zhang Cheng's face never changed. It warmed her heart and melted the ice and snow inside little by little. Chen Yingxiu wanted to speak, but was choked up. Her beautiful eyes were moist. In order to prevent him from seeing the clues, Chen Yingxiu turned around and looked at the scene outside the window, slightly restrained. The goddess in the hearts of countless people. Don't you just want to get your dad's approval? Because a company with a market value of tens of billions is nothing. She believed that this was the sense of security she once wanted to have. Now, she felt it in Zhang Cheng. Feeling Zhang Cheng's broad shoulders gave her an unprecedented feeling. Zhang Cheng gently held her in his arms and patted her back. I came out from home and worked hard to start a business. I want to go further and develop better. At less than 30 years old, she owns an internet company with a market value of tens of billions, and is an outstanding representative of contemporary women. Forgive me for this unrealistic idea, but I just want to give you a future. This is not worth the fact that Chen Luo is a man. He would rather leave all the family property to Chen Luo than share any of it with himself. I inadvertently took one look at you and identified you. Do you know, I came to Yeadu for you. You like technology companies, so I will build a perfect technology company just to be able to be with you. Get on the line. To give you the most beautiful future, there is no need to recall the past, only to recall our beauty. Dad. Looking at the scene outside the floor-to-ceiling window gradually blurring, she saw what she looked like. The goal of independent women. What have these years been for? Isn't it just because I am a woman? Although you and I are no longer young, the future is still very long. Let's go on together, okay? Using his own scumbag quotes, he started his journey of deceiving ignorant girls. In the entire Dragon Kingdom, Chen Yingxiu is also extremely outstanding. He stands at a higher place, overlooking himself, and will not look at the evaluation of the outside world, only using what he sees with his own eyes. Zhang Cheng's extremely affectionate words completely touched Chen Yingxiu. Now I hold you in my arms. You are just as I imagined. You are so soft, with a special fragrance, which makes me so fascinated by you. The future will be good, let me give it to you. There was a label on her, but Chen Tiansheng just didn't see it. He only saw that she was his daughter and she should follow his own arrangements. He hugged Zhang Cheng tightly and sobbed softly. No matter how well you do and how outstanding you are, etc. However, no matter how hard he tried, his father still stubbornly believed that women should get married and obey his arrangements. Zhang Cheng used his soulful voice to make up his own lies. Okay, I believe you. Chen Yingxiu's voice was trembling. Contribute yourself to the Chen family. Chen Yingxiu's vision became blurry and filled with tears. Therefore, Chen Tiansheng sees Chen Yingxiu's success over the years, but he doesn't care.